gorgeous creatures. So a little while back I did a post on Off the Poll asking, did anybody have any questions about supplements? And there was a huge response back, probably the most amount of questions I've ever had back from doing a post like that. And so I've picked kind of the top questions to cover for you today, the most frequently asked and the ones I feel like are going to be the most beneficial for you. So I hope you enjoy it, and I had tea, we should be good. What are the best supplements for performance? This really depends on your goals and the type of training that you're doing, because performance can mean different things to different people. So in pole, we need a huge amount of energy. We tend to be training for quite a long period of time. We're not doing short bursts. We're doing kind of an hour, 2 hour training sessions or classes sometimes. And so for that, I would recommend BCAAs, which are branched chain amino acids. And these can come in different forms. You can get these in a pill or a drink form. I personally use a drink form because I find that it helps me drink more water and stay hydrated during the workout. Normally after about 30 minutes, your energy levels start to deplete, like your natural energy resources. So if you drink BCAAs during the workout, then that's going to keep your energy levels topped up and give you a boost kind of throughout your training. It also helps with muscle recovery. So I find that I'm getting energy during my workout and recovery afterwards, and I'm drinking water, so I'm staying hydrated, and they taste nice, so I like them. The one I like to use is the Optimum EFX Amino Matrix, which is this one. This is in grape flavour. There is also a green apple one, which tastes really nice, but I like this one the best. Mixes really well. It is a very high quality pharmaceutical grade amino acid. Increases energy capacity, decreases muscle breakdown, lowers cortisol levels, and improves fat mobilization, which is a bonus. But it's also aspartame free, stimulant free, so you don't get a crash after taking it, which is good. And it's also carb free, so you can eat afterwards. I don't like it if I'm taking a supplement and it fills me up, makes me feel heavy. So this is super light. You can just drink it like water during your workout or your pole class, and it gives me a huge boost of energy, and you don't get a sore afterwards. So what are the best supplements for recovery or after training? So recovery is a multi-stage process, and this is going to depend on the type of workout that you've just done, and also this is going to vary slightly from person to person, but immediately after you've finished exercise, you need to make sure that you're rehydrating, so taking on some water. If you've had a very heavy kind of sweaty session, even maybe getting in some electrolytes. The second stage is where you're going to focus on having some kind of snack or small meal. So this could be some more amino acids, this could be a protein shake, banana, nut butter, something like that that's going to help get the recovery process going and start to kind of refuel your body. And then try and get a proper meal in around kind of within a 2 hour period of finishing your training session. So that's not always possible, which is why things like protein shakes are good. But if you can get some proper food in, then that's always highly recommended. Try and keep it balanced, carbs, proteins, and some healthy fats. There is another product that I've been taking recently, which I've been a little bit hesitant to talk about until I've fully done the research behind it myself, tested it on myself, because I know this is one that when people hear juice style products, they tend to throw up a red flag, myself included. This is actually being backed by the New Zealand government. A lot of very well-known athletes already use this and are getting great results from it. And it is Currants. I'll type it on because it's really bright in here today. But this is basically just blackcurrant extract capsules. If you take this before training, it will dramatically reduce your DOMS and help with recovery. Question number 3, what to use before training? If you need some motivation, like a quick hit, you just want to get in there and get it done, something quick, cheap, easy, then caffeine is probably the most obvious choice. The only problem is that caffeine is a stimulant. You're gonna experience some kind of crash afterwards. It's dehydrating to the body. It's addictive. So if you start, you're gonna have to continue to drink coffee. You need more caffeine as you get more kind of used to it. And there's no recovery benefits. So it's not gonna aid you in your recovery process. It's just gonna boost you up and then make you crash. As a coffee lover myself, I understand that coffee is a good pre-workout, but I also know that it's not the best. The best thing that I would say is the BCAAs, which we talked about earlier, because it's going to give you that motivation, it's going to give you that energy boost, but also help with your recovery and kind of start linking in with your after kind of recovery training stuff. that we've already talked about. The only con with the BCAAs is obviously the cost. It's going to be more expensive than caffeine, but for me, like it's an investment in my recovery. It means I can recover quicker, and then I can train more, and then I can do more pole. So for me, that's kind of that's how I balance out the cost of it. Question number 4: what are the pros and cons to protein supplements or protein shakes? So the supplements industry up until recently was highly driven by the bodybuilding industry, who are very reliant on their message of protein and pushing protein, and we need protein every few hours or we're all gonna wither up and our muscles are gonna die. And I'm paraphrasing, but the fact is there's a lot of research coming out now and a lot of articles coming out now saying that we don't need this kind of heavy reliance on protein. And if your diet is balanced, you have good nutrition in your diet, your body's getting that from the food. You don't need to add in something else that's gonna add more calories and add more things for your body to process, because your body can only process so much protein at one time. So if you're eating food, then you don't necessarily need protein shakes on top of that. They're also quite expensive. They can have different effects on people. Like there's another question about whey versus vegan proteins. How the whey protein that they use in a lot of protein shakes is very heavily processed. So even if you're not lactose intolerant, you can still have an adverse reaction to some of the protein shakes. It's different for everybody, and I'm not saying you're going to be intolerant to them, but they personally make me feel very bloated. I don't get on very well with them. I don't get on well with dairy now anyway, because I haven't had it in so long. But the way I use protein shakes is if I can't eat food, then I'll have a protein shake, because it's something quick, something easy that I can get into my system in that kind of first couple of hours after training. So if I was gonna have, where's my tub? If I was gonna have one after training, so this would be like my snack after training, then I would have the Genetic Vegan Protein, which is this one. I started taking this late last year. It's a brown rice, pea and hemp protein. If you've ever tried vegan proteins, they're not the best tasting because you have to normally mix them with something, because otherwise they taste like sand. But this one I find tastes really nice with just water. I'm quite accustomed to vegan proteins. So if you're going from like creamy, processed, like milkshake style whey protein, this is gonna need an adjustment. It's like going from, you know, white chocolate to dark chocolate. It's like an acquired taste. But this is definitely the nicest one I've had by far. The chocolate one is my favorite to have just with water. You could have it with an almond milk or a coconut milk. That also tastes really nice. And the vanilla one I like to have in smoothies. So I'll mix that up with some fruit, some spinach, kind of the usual suspects for smoothies. Should you supplement on the pole training the same as off the pole training? So pole versus gym-based training. So when you're planning your supplements, this is really going to depend on the length of the session and on kind of what you're training and how you're training. If you're doing short, not too heavy, not low impact, then you may not need any supplements. It's not like you have to have supplements to do well in the gym or pole. It's just if you're feeling like fatigued or low energy, or you're not recovering very well, or you're doing extended training sessions or competition training, teaching for long hours at a time, then supplements can aid you and make sure that you're going to get the best out of your sessions. So I tend to stick with currents beforehand, BCAAs during, and then protein after, or a meal. That's kind of how I structure it, regardless of what I'm doing. I tend to find that if I'm doing a shorter training session or I'm teaching for like a short class, like a private, I wouldn't take the aminos because I'm not going to need it, and I wouldn't need the currents, but I might get hungry in between classes, and so I'd have a protein shake. Or if I'm doing a 2-hour training session and I'm training new tricks and I'm going to be doing conditioning and things like that, then I take currents and BCAAs. So it really depends on what you're doing, and you'll start to find out what works for you in your training schedule and your body and how it reacts to different supplements. I hope this video has been helpful. I try to keep it concise and as short as possible. We can go into more detail, and if you have any follow-up questions, then please let me know. Just didn't want to get too kind of heavy on the subject. If you want any of the supplements that were featured in this video, then go to offthepole.co.uk. There's more information about each individual one on there too, or just shoot me a message if you have any questions.